What's up, everybody? All right, today I am exploring the capital city of a country that does not exist. So I'm in the city of Tiraspol in the country of Transnistria. This is Parliament building right here. It technically does not exist because it's not recognized by any country on earth. It's heavily supported by Russia, heavily funded by the Russian Federation, but Russia does not recognize it as its own independent country. This place is a very Soviet nostalgic region. At the end of the Cold War and the fall of communism, Moldova, which was part of the USSR, they declared their independence. And the people in this region here were afraid of being marginalized, and because they were afraid that Moldova was going to eventually join back up with Romania. So they decided that they wanted to be their own country, and Moldova said no, and they actually went to war over it. So in November of 1990 to July 1992, there was a hot war. Here's the monument commemorating the war. I think about 1,500 people died during the conflict. And the result of the ceasefire was that the region of Transnistria would operate as its own independent entity, but it would still be legally recognized as being part of Moldova. So they have their own currency, they have their own judicial system, they have their own border checkpoints. They have all of the makings of an independent country, but nobody recognizes them as one. So it's a really fascinating place. There are Soviet statues everywhere. There's a statue of Lenin in front of the Parliament building. Here on this other side is it's commemorating the withdrawal of Soviet troops from Afghanistan. Their flag is the only flag left in the world that has the Soviet hammer and sickle. You see a lot of streets named after socialist and communist figures, revolutionaries, philosophers, Karl Marx, Vladimir Lenin, Rosa Luxemburg, people of that nature. And it's a heavily militarized country or region, whatever you want to call it. There are about 1,200 to 1,700 Russian troops that have been stationed here since 1992. I don't think it has its own police force. I have not seen any police officers. I've only seen people in military uniforms walking around. Some dilapidated parts of town, but at the same time, you'll see brand new businesses, some newer buildings. Most of them were constructed during the Soviet days. But what's most fascinating about this place is when you get here, you'll realize that it's like you're stuck in a time warp between the Soviet days and 2022, because you'll see old buildings, you see old vehicles, but at the same time you'll see brand new vehicles, brand new businesses. There's Soviet statues everywhere. So it's an oddly fascinating place. This is my second time here, and yeah, it's pretty cool. The people are nice. nobody speaks English. There's like 3 people here in this whole city, I think, who speak English. So the Russian language is the language here, and in Moldova it's what's Moldovan, but there's really not much difference between Moldovan language and Romanian. So yeah, they're very Soviet nostalgic here. It's pretty fascinating. So I'm going to show you around. Right now I'm in front of the tank. This is one of the tanks that was used during the war 30 years ago. All right, I just crossed the street. Behind me is the tank monument and also a pretty nice park. And it kind of continues when you cross the street. There's just not as many trees. Behind me is a statue. I don't know who it is. And I think that this commemorates 230 years of Tiraspol, of the city, but I'm not sure. I think these are the different flags from over the years, throughout the centuries actually. The one on the far right over there, or second to the right, has the year 1628. The one on the left, 1792. And the 2 flying the highest, the one on the left is the flag of Transnistria, and then it's got the flag of the Russian Federation. So over here, directly in front, that green building is the farmers market with a lot of little shops and whatnot. And then kind of back over here, there's an old Eastern Orthodox church with the classic Russian style domes, and you'll see a few other religious monuments around. All right, well, that about ends the tour of Tiraspol. Not a whole lot to it, but there's not much to this city other than it's a pretty fascinating time capsule, I guess you could call it that. So I just got some tea at the monopoly grocery store called Sheriff, which was started by 2 ex-KGB agents. And oh yeah, currency. So they have their own currency, as I mentioned earlier, but they're not connected to the SWIFT system. So if you have a Visa card, it won't work here. You have to get your cash exchanged. So they do exchange US dollars, euro, all that. I brought Moldovan money with me. But yeah, make sure that you do that. I've learned that the hard way. The first time I was here, I had to pay my Airbnb for an extra night so she could refund me the money in Transnistria rubles. And oh yeah, in line, old ladies will try and cut in front of you. Both times I've been here, I've had an old lady try and cut in front of me in line, and I didn't let her. I'm not going to be bullied by an old lady. But my apartment is here. As I mentioned earlier, a lot of places look new, but then a lot of them look kind of dilapidated. It's just because of lack of funding. So a lot of these sidewalks are uneven. A lot of the roads are bumpy. So overall, I would say this place could use a new coat of paint. I'll put it that way. But it's really not a bad place to come visit. So I recommend that you do if you ever find yourself in Eastern Europe. So I'm gonna go get some rest now because I've been walking all day. Thanks for tuning in. I guess that's about it. I don't know where I'm going next, but it should be pretty cool. So I'll see you later. Bye.